What do you think is the most famous fictional character of all time? Maybe it's Superman or Harry Potter or Mary Poppins or Sherlock Holmes. Well, one that you've probably heard of, but you probably didn't think about, is a guy called the Good Samaritan.
He's a good guy.
The Good Samaritan may be the most foundational parable Jesus ever shared that teaches us what it means to be servants in God's kingdom.
I had the honor to be your obedient servant.
The story highlights various critical aspects of what it means to love your neighbor. First, we are called to have compassion on absolutely everyone. You don't need to waste time thinking about whether the person who has a need deserves your help. Instead, we're just called to help. Literally, just do it.
Do it! Just do it! Do it!
Second, we're called to help people in practical ways, not just throw money at them. While it's good to be generous, Jesus calls us to get our hands dirty and actually help people in practical ways.
But actions speak louder than words.
God gave us a great model in Jesus. He didn't stay up in heaven all safe and sanitary and just love us from afar. Instead, he became one of us and modeled humble service. Third, Jesus wants us to give of ourselves, but he doesn't want us to only give. When we help other people, we have to recognize their inherent dignity as people who are also made in the image of God. The people we serve are called to participate in God's mission too. And that means we shouldn't assume that just because we're helping them, they don't have anything to offer us. You might say it this way: we're called to help people get back on their feet, not to try to become their feet.
Wait, what?
Well, it made sense in my head. Anyway, you might be thinking at this point, isn't all this ministry and service, isn't that kind of the pastor's job? I mean, what do we pay you guys for anyway?
A fair question.
Well, actually, I have a response to that straight from the scriptures. It comes from Ephesians 4 and verses 11 through 12. It says, "So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors and teachers to equip his people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up." Enough said. Okay, fourth, the Good Samaritan shows us something important about Jesus' own ministry. He was always willing to have his schedule interrupted to help somebody. So if we're going to be servants and followers of Jesus, we have to learn to be okay with our schedules and plans sometimes being interrupted so that we can better serve people. I think this is one of the hardest lessons for me to learn. After all, nobody likes to be.
Let me stop you right there.
The body of Christ is a family. And think about it. If someone in your family was in dire need, would you really put your schedule before helping them? Of course not. But the radical part is, Jesus doesn't want us to just love people in the church this way. We have to be willing to help and serve even our enemies.
That's not fair.
Our fifth and final point is this: sin has marred the world, and it has made it just not the way it's supposed to be. It's wrecked God's shalom, his perfect peace and wholeness in creation. But Jesus came to restore that. And the good news is, we get to be a part of his work in that regard. That's right, alleviating poverty, healing illness, restoring the brokenhearted. All of these things are parts of God's mission in the world. It's not just about preaching the gospel, it's about living the gospel. Actions speak louder than words.
Let's get to work.
Now, one of the key ways that God's shalom has been disrupted involves money. Poverty isn't supposed to exist. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. So, what do we do with money, and what does God think of it? Stay tuned this week. Enjoy the journey.